Hello. I'm going to go ahead and make a very easy and simple base building tutorial because I looked around online. I didn't see anything that was like pretty, you know, simple to understand. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. As you can see right here, I've already built some walls. Basically, DayZ building is kind of bare bones. You kind of just put up walls like wherever you really want. It's not like they're connected or anything. These aren't actually connected. You can see this isn't actually connected either. And what I'm going to talk about is not how to build a big fucking base. You can take what I talk about today and figure it out on your own. What I'm going to talk about is basically how to build walls just to surround your shit. Because most servers, or even maybe every server, I don't fucking know, has it so that like once you open your tent and close it, you can see I have access to all my stuff, right? I can see it all, but I can't actually do anything with it. I can't interact with it. I can't even put stuff in it. So what you have to do is actually open your fucking tent in order to move stuff around and to take stuff out and put stuff in, which leaves you vulnerable because your tent's wide open and you're just standing here moving stuff around your inventory. This is why walls are very important, because if you have a wall, obviously people cannot shoot you unless they're inside of the wall. Also, I put up these two things first, so that if I were to arrive and type in my passcode, I have some cover. Obviously not from here, but I have cover so that I'm not able to be shot while I'm typing in my passcode. And I also am going to finish the wall all the way around here, because I do have two tents. So let's just get right into it. Here's everything you're going to need. A hatchet, or an axe, or a firefighting axe, whatever you have works. Something to chop down trees. You're going to need a rope to start out with. You're going to need a box of nails, a lot of boxes of nails, because you use nails pretty quickly. You're going to need a hammer, a lot of hammers, because you also use up hammers pretty quickly. And as far as I'm concerned, there's no way to repair a hammer. You're going to need duct tape or sharpening stones. I have a lot of these in my other tent. And you're also going to need a hacksaw. The reason why you need duct tape or sharpening stones is to fix your shit. As you are going along and chopping down trees and cutting them into planks, your shit will become broken. And once it goes all the way to ruined, you can't bring it back. So once it gets to badly damaged, that's when you're going to want to go ahead and repair it using duct tape. And all you have to do is just drag this on top of it and repair. It's pretty simple. Your hacksaw and your your hacksaw and your hatchet are going to be the things you're repairing. Like I said, just buy a shitload of hammers because you can't repair those. So we're going to start off by, well, fuck it, I'm going to go ahead and just show you how to start. Cut down a tree by taking your hatchet out and holding left click. It takes about 4 cycles of the loading bar. Now when you do this, you should receive 2 items. You're going to receive a wooden log, and then you're going to see some firewood. So the first thing you're going to want to do is take a piece of firewood and use your hacksaw with it to split it. You're going to split it into a long stick, and then you're going to use your rope with the long stick to make a fence kit. Okay, so take the stick off the ground, use your rope with it, and craft a fence kit. This is basically how you begin building. You take your fence kit, which is this item right here. Sorry, my cat is meowing at me. Take your fence kit and choose your placement by left clicking, and it'll give you this idea of where it's going to go. So all you really need to do is just line it up with wherever you want it to go. There's not a whole lot of customization here. You kind of just, you know, this is really all you can do. So just line it up and figure out the angle you want, depending on how, you know, what shape you want your base to be. And I usually like to get it so that it's kind of intersecting with the other one, so that there's no gap, or that, you know, I try not to make a gap. I obviously fucked up earlier. And then once you have it, hold left click. Don't just click. You have to actually hold left click. This will create the fence kit, which is now going to be able to have stuff added to it, like a wooden log. So you can walk over here again, and pick up your wooden log. These are big items. I guess you probably could fit it into a bag if you have a big enough bag. I don't know. But basically it's just meant to be carried around. You can't run or you can't even jump. It's just it's meant to be kind of annoying. Then you just walk up and left click attach to your fence. You're going to need 2 of these, so this is where it becomes time consuming. Just basically chopping down a lot of trees. You only ever get 1 wooden log from a tree, and you need 2 to begin the build. That's where you start. You don't even need to have nails yet. All you need is just 2 wooden logs to start the actual base. Okay, so take the other one into your hands, walk over, left click attach. Now that you have 2 logs on your base, take your shovel and left click build base. Or hold left click, build base. This will build 2 wooden logs standing up, and this is where you continue to make your actual wall. Also, when you do this, your fence kit will drop on the ground. So this is very good. Don't forget this, because you can keep putting more and more fence kits down. And you don't have to keep crafting them with more and more rope. So keep that, handy. But as you can see, I already started one over here. So now I'm going to go over that process. Basically, when you build a complete wall, it's going to happen in 4 cycles. You're going to build the lower frame, then the upper frame, then you're going to fill in the lower frame, and then fill in the upper frame. And it takes a lot of planks. So now let's talk about making planks, right? So take your wooden log into your hands, and then take your hacksaw and combine it with your wooden log, and left click to hold, or hold left click to craft the wooden planks. This will make you 4 wooden planks out of 1 log. You can add them all at once, don't worry. In case you haven't noticed, basically these bases have like their own little inventory. And I already had nails here. That's good. So you can put a couple of different things here. To be honest, I don't even really know what all this shit is. But I do know that if you add metal wire, you can make it into a gate. You need metal wire to make an openable gate. You can even add a code lock onto it to make it lockable. But this is basically how you see what you have. And when you're ready to do something else, you take your shovel out, and that's how you actually build, or I'm sorry, your hammer, and you should have an option to build something. If you have more planks in there, like I only have 4, so the only thing I can build is the upper frame. If I were to have 5 planks, it would ask me to build the upper frame or to finish the lower wall. And basically you just left click to cycle through the options, and then you hold left click when you're ready to choose the option. So as you can see, I just built this upper frame, and it took 4 planks, and I believe it took 8 nails. So that's really all you do. You just kind of keep going back and forth from trees to your builds, and you add a bunch of planks to build a bunch of stuff. That's really all there is to it. And like I said, if you want to add a gate, you have to add metal wire to the base. And then you can add a code lock or a combination lock, and you can make it a locked gate. Now there's a little bit of an issue, which I'll talk about, when it comes to locking a gate. It's also going to get really dark, which is unfortunate. So if you're in an open area like I am, in the middle of a forest, I would not suggest having a gate that is locked, because it's kind of pointless. There's a lot of ways for, like, this game is really kind of glitchy, and there's a lot of ways for people to actually enter your base no matter what. They can do it on, like, a car. If they have a car, they can drive a car up and, jump on top of it and then jump inside. They can even just, like, fuck with the geometry and get in no matter what, basically, if they just find a corner that is not perfectly flush. It's kind of shitty. I would not trust a gate in the middle of the open. If you build inside of, like, an actual house, like a house at the game, like a city or a town, You can actually build in those. Then it's kind of safe because there's no way people can get through that geometry. But out here in the middle of the fucking woods, you're best off to just lock your tents and then have a gate only to use for people to not be able to see in or shoot you. That's what I suggest. Unless you have a bigger, more complicated build, I'm sure you could get around, and I'm sure you could figure out how to make it an actually secure gate. But for the most part, I would suggest not doing that, and then just having your tents be locked. But it's a matter of preference, and you're probably going to end up being a better base builder than I am eventually, so you can figure it out on your own at that point. I'm only doing this to learn how to protect myself from people trying to base camp me. That's kind of the idea here. And it is also getting very fucking dark, which is unfortunate. But this server doesn't have nighttime for very long, so it's not a big deal. That's pretty much all there is to it. Just make sure you have the tools you need, because there are a certain number of tools that are necessary. You can't get away with substitutes for these things. You have to have a hammer, you have to have a shovel. There are different kinds of shovels. I believe there's 2 in this game. There's probably a couple more in other mods or whatever. There's like a field shovel, which is smaller, which is pretty neat. And they all do the same thing. But you definitely need a shovel. There's no other substitution for that. And you definitely need nails. You definitely need a hatchet or an axe. You can't chop down a tree with a knife or anything crazy like that. So just try not to forget anything once you go to actually do the build. And then just add the 2 logs and go from there. So you see I've just completed this wall. It took maybe like 20 something planks. And now there is a wall here. Which is good because it's kind of protecting me from people trying to shoot me as I put in my password. I need to do that side. But I already put up this fence kit, so I'm just going to do this one. Thanks for watching. I hope this is helpful.